another build slash loadout video for you guys. This time we're gonna be going over Excal. Just seeing how I deal with enemies at a closer range. For longer range engagements, I like to use the Excal. A little AoE. Alright, so that's close range, that's long range, and let's hop into the build. Okay, so starting with the Excal, it's a pretty basic Excal build. So obviously you got Umbral Intensify, Umbral Vitality, and Umbral Fiber. These are basically contributing to his overall survivability, and this is a large chunk of the power strength that you need. I think you need 170% in order for Chromatic Blade to give you the full 100% status, but I didn't really think it was worth adding another power strength mod just to get another, I believe, like 7% status. This is good enough. Obviously you have to have Chromatic Blade. If you don't have Chromatic Blade augment in your Excalibur build, then you just have a objectively bad build for Excal. This is an auto include. Okay, prime continuity for more duration. This extends the duration of your blind and also lessens the drain of the Exalted Blade. And I usually like to stay in Exalted Blade pretty much all the time. I've got Lightning Dash here for a little bit more mobility. This makes closing the gap between enemies a lot faster and actually increases your survivability, surprisingly, by being harder to hit. So yeah, and as well as adaptation, increases your survivability. There's a really nice interaction with adaptation and Excal. When you have his blade out, you will automatically block incoming damage from the direction that you're facing, and even though you take no damage, you still gain the damage resistance stack. So works really nice. And then I've got Rolling Guard here because in late game, in-game enemies can one-shot you like bombards, nullifiers, and it's good to just roll in advance of engaging those enemies so that you don't just get immediately one-shot, because this build is focusing on Exalted Blade and you're going to be up close and personal a lot of the times when dealing with enemies. I'm running Steel Charge for the aura. You can really run whatever aura you want. I pretty much am using this aura because I don't want to corner him again, just to use what is it, Swift Momentum? Yeah, Swift Momentum. I would like to use Swift Momentum, but it's not important enough to reform her for. And Handspring, because you don't want to be on the ground. You're going to be up close and personal. You're probably going to get knocked down a lot, and it's a definite good thing to have this here so that you don't spend an eternity getting up off the ground. Alright, I'm running Arcane Strike. This is a huge DPS increase for Excal when you're using his Exalted Blade. This is just going to make you able to put out a lot more damage. And Arcane Energize is here just because having extra energy is good, especially if you're going to be trying to stay in Exalted Blade for as long as possible. Extra energy is a good thing. So overall, pretty basic build. It's not very many eyebrow raising mods here. Everything is pretty self-explanatory, but the beauty of this build is in the synergy. Of all the different items that I'm using are pretty much culminating in a very nice, very cohesive build. Okay, so let's jump into the synergies first. So I'm running the Nakana Prime. On the Nakana Prime, I'm really just using this as a stack stick. So I've got Gladiator Vice, Gladiator Might, Gladiator Rush for the Gladiator set bonus. Since you can't use Blood Rush on Exalted Blade, I'm using this as a pseudo Blood Rush to pump up the crit chance of Exalted Blade, so that you can have really consistent crits with Exalted Blade. Everything else is here just in case you have to swing it. Sometimes you'll run out of energy and you might have to swing your actual melee weapon. Condition Overload, Blood Rush with viral and crit damage just make it so that if you have to swing this in a pinch, it'll still do decent enough damage to be serviceable. And Blind Justice is just my testing the best Akana stance that's out right now. So this is your basic stat stick. I'm using this so that I don't have to use it on a Sentinel. Exalted Blade. This is the Exalted Blade build. Alright, now this is I have the energy color set to red, so that's heat. And obviously I'm running Prime Fever Strike. This is gonna make gas damage. Gas damage is the best element to use with Exalted Blade because it makes it a more AoE, and it synergizes with his blind so that you get the stealth multipliers on the gas ticks. And I'm running Smite Corrupted to pump up the gas ticks even further because gas triple dips off of faction damage. Okay, and then I've just got Prime Fury here for more attack speed, Berserker for even more attack speed. You really need to double stack attack speed on Exalted Blade because it's really slow without it. Condition Overload is an absolute must so that you can load them up with status effects from your secondary, and you can just mow them down with your melee. So huge damage increase right here. Healing Return, this is here just so that you can passively restore your health. Like I said before, you're going to be in enemies' faces a lot, like almost all the time. You're going to be taking a lot of damage, and you're going to need to replace that damage. So Life Strike is you're going to end up dying if you try to use Life Strike, because you're going to not have time to get a heavy attack off, and it's just better to use Healing Return. You don't have to think about it, so just use Healing Return. And obviously Organ Shatter for increased crit damage. What good is high crit chance if you don't have high crit damage? And then Sacrificial, because like I say, you can't equip Blood Rush. This is where Blood Rush would be, and it's just not available. So using Sacrificial instead. Alright, now the Cyanex. This is this secondary that I'm using with Excal. This is literally just to apply status, just to spread status. This is the best secondary that I've found to accomplish this goal, because the Cyanex has a feature where if you shoot an enemy, not only do the bullets auto home in on the target, but they'll also spread to other targets after they hit the initial enemy. So this is just really good for spreading status. Got a 96% status chance, so this thing is gonna spread some status. So I've got this is here Amalgam Barrier Diffusion, mainly for the dodge speed, so that you can just roll faster, evade damage faster. And leaning really hard into Corrosive. I also have Toxin on the Riven, so leaning really hard into Corrosive. This is gonna really help strip armor pretty quickly. The one thing that the gas damage that you have on your Exalted Blade struggles with is really high armor values, so this brings the armor down to manageable levels pretty quickly. And then I'm modding for Blast. I'm using Prime Heated Charge because I'm going so hard into Corrosive. I'm using Prime Heated Charge to kind of bump up the blast to be somewhat on par with the corrosive damage. As you can see, I've got just a little bit more corrosive than I do blast, so this makes it so that they proc it'll pretty much even a little bit, get a few more corrosive procs than you do blast procs, and that's pretty much how you want it to be. You really only need 1 or 2 blast procs. You want the rest to be corrosive. Lethal Torrent for the increased fire rate and multi-shot. And then I'm running Eject Magazine. Eject Magazine is huge because when you switch between your melee and your secondary, while you have your melee out, it's going to be reloading your secondary. So you pretty much never have to reload again with this equipped. And then I've just got Riven. This is just here for pretty much the damage and the projectile flight speed. The Toxin is nice, but it's not necessary. You don't even really need a Riven at all because you can just run Lethal Momentum and it'll pretty much do about the same thing. But yeah, this is the Cynex build. This is literally just here for pumping up Exalted Blade and your melee. And then the lens, I'm using the lens because Excal doesn't really have any AoE attacks that do significant damage at high level. So I'm using the lens here so that you have a good AoE option. Alright, so for my lens build, I'm running Vile Acceleration for, you know, the charge up speed. Crit damage, crit chance, 100 munitions, absolute must have on the lens. The lens struggles so bad with armor. Like if you're using the lens against armored targets and you don't have 100 munitions, I don't know what you're doing. Like you're not gonna do any damage. So this is leaning really hard on 100 munitions for this build to work. Split chamber for the extra multi-shot. This increases, multi-shot increases the chance that 100 munitions goes off. And prime Bane increases, it double dips with the slash, so it increases the slash procs by 100% because it applies to them twice. So it doubles the slash ticks values, which is really good. And then obviously Amalgam Serration, this is for the damage and also for the sprint speed. The additional sprint speed is really good with Excal. Like I said, you're going to be meleeing all the time, and you want to be able to get from target to target as fast as possible. So this helps with that. My lens ribbon. This is probably the optimal, just about as good as you can get ribbon for the lens. I got crit chance, multi-shot, crit damage with negative damage to infested. Okay, so pretty self-explanatory. This is a really good mod. Pretty expensive. You might not have this, but I would probably just run probably bladed rounds in place of this, to be honest, if you don't have this. And then obviously Twitch is here just to be able to switch between secondary and primary really quick. And then I've got the different builds, which is basically just the different Bane mods. So those are the builds. And I'm also running the Ardarza Kvet. The Ardarza Kvet is really good for Excal. Alright, so you're gonna be in melee mode pretty much all the time with your Exalted Blade. And Pack Leader says when you do damage with melee, it heals your pet. So this is gonna make your pet really difficult to kill if you're just constantly doing damage. And also the gas procs that you're gonna be inflicting will also heal your pet. Just so by doing a bunch of gas procs and just letting the gas tick, is gonna be constantly healing your pet, and it's gonna be really difficult to kill. Okay, you pretty much are. I'm running the Ardarza Kvet for this right here, Cat's Eye. So you get a 60% increased crit chance for 10 seconds every 20 seconds. So this is a flat crit chance. So my Exalted Blade has a 40% crit chance This puts it at 100%. So that's really big, and it's doing that every 20 seconds reliably. Okay, then Tech Assault. This is just here to make your Cuvette stick around for a little bit longer and make it a little harder to kill. Synth Fiber and Synth Deconstruct. This increases the rate that your secondary is going to be reloaded while it's holstered. So with eject magazine is 20, and then this combines for a 30% of magazine per second. So that's really good. Then Prime Animal Instinct is just for the radar, so that you can know where enemies are. This is really useful for Excal because his waves can go through walls. So knowing where the enemies are without actually having to see them can help you by being able to attack enemies through walls. And then obviously Link Health with the Umbral Vitality. This gives your Cuvette a really large health pool. Just contributes. Basically, you just want your Cuvette to be as hard to kill as possible. So that's pretty much what I'm mining for with Medipet kit. And the Tech Enhance. This increases the duration of your crit chance buff. So that's auto include. And then Fetch, just the vacuum is just utility. It's just there. It's nice to have, pretty much. But yeah, the Ardarza Cuvette is a huge increase to your DPS. Alright, so we're gonna set up a little mod scenario. Well, that's a little mod scenario for you. Well, that's my Excal loadout that I have for you guys today. Like and subscribe and comment down below if you like this loadout. And I've got some more coming in the near future. I've got a Rhino loadout coming and a Volt loadout coming. So like and subscribe. You'll be the first ones to see them. But catch you next time. Peace.